G'day folks. Well, it's good to be back after a couple of weeks of having a little break. I've been busy though, but I just needed a little bit of a break from putting up the videos. Guys, I've been bloody consistent for the last 4 years, so don't panic if I don't put a video up for 1 or 2 weeks. It just means I'm having my little scheduled break every so often. Well guys, we're going to talk about oil pumps. Now this is going to be stage 2 of my oil pump mod. I have put a video up of the modifications of an oil pump. I did it probably a couple of years ago. If you look on my channel, it's on the home page. Well, I'm going to do a couple of little extra bits to it to complement the oil block mod that I've been working on in the last sort of month or so on my 355 stroker. Now, these aren't a bad pump, guys, in standard trim. But when we elevate the revs, we really need a little bit more volume and we need good oil pressure up in the top end of the revs. To achieve that, we basically do a few little things to get it to flow and to bump up the pressure a little bit. I'm not going to sort of go into it too much because on this video, but once I've done the modifying on this pump, I'll go right into detail with it. It's just a bit of an overview of what my plans are. So yeah, well, I'll show you guys what my intentions are. First off, we need to lift oil pressure. We'll basically make sure that the pump doesn't relieve pressure till around 75 psi. So what we do, we basically pack this cap around 100 thousandths. I use a $1 coin. It actually works really well, and that bumps them up to around 75 psi pressure. So I shape it down and pop him in there, and that sort of packs the spring up that little bit and keeps the piston, or this part here, from basically relieving any pressure up around 75 psi. So that's our one little trick we do there to lift oil pressure. But to get the oil pressure we need, we really got to get into this pump and create a really good amount of flow. We can't gain oil pressure without complementing the body of the pump. And I mean by that is radiusing all the sharp corners where the oil travels through the pump. We have to really spend a bit of time to make sure that the oil can be pumped through at a relative ease. Well, my next little trick, guys, I'm going to do to complement this pump to my new block that I've worked on, we're going to drill out, step up to a 5/8 drill bit on all the holes that we can access. So in here, we need to drill this out, we'll need to drill in there, and I think we need to drill up in there. Basically, just radius, open it up that little bit more so we can gain a little bit more flow. I have drilled out the pickup through the block to 5/8, and I want to match this pump to the block. So when I get that other motor going, guys, I'm going to step up to a 5/8 ID pipe for the pickup. So we're getting fantastic oil from the pickup through to the pump, and it gives it a great chance of ensuring that we get excellent oil pressure up in the top end of the revs, 6,000 onwards, and that's when we really need it. When that motor's spinning really hard, it needs that constant oil pressure. So by radiusing or porting out this whole pump, which I will show once I do it, guys, it's going to ensure that we're not putting any extra loadings on the gears. So we've still got standard volume drive, but we've increased the volume significantly. Rather than, why don't you just, well, for example, why don't you put on a high volume pump? Well, the reason is we don't want extra loadings on the shaft that runs up to the cam. We can potentially have a failure, and we want to eliminate that. The whole point of doing the standard volume is so we don't have extra loadings. We've gained reliability, but we're going to increase our flow and bump our oil pressure up too. So I'll show you guys when I've done it. We'll go into depth on it, and I'll show you exactly where I've sort of worked on the pump and what you do to achieve a good result. It's not hard, it just takes time, guys, and this is the beautiful thing about it. It doesn't cost any money, just a bit of time, patience, and it's a great feeling when you get results. This one here on my little turbo engine here, that's had the first stage 1, I'll call it, oil pump mod. Sorry guys, I'm getting a bit tongue twisted. So, and that is an incredible little pump, guys. I'm hovering up around 70 pound on hot oil, up in the revs, no dramas. It's just fantastic. We haven't even done any oil mod or any block mod to this engine. So far so good, but I'm not leaning on it too much, this motor. But the next that engine that I've worked on, guys, I want a little bit more reliability and a little bit more. Alright folks, well there you go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to, I'll pop one up probably in the next few days, or probably a week by the time I get round to doing it. And I'll show you the ins and outs of my stage 2 oil pump modification. Alright folks, well I'll pop one up soon. Catch yous later.